All right, roll call. Everybody is here except for Brandon, which was noted. Still have a quorum, so we can continue. 4.0, communication and reports.
Diane Stortall was gonna talk a bit about a fundraiser for school readiness.
Okay.
The staff in school readiness, the licensed staff are putting together a community garage sale where we host it and we sell tables for $20 a table. And they do it up in Thief River, and so we thought it's a good way. They wanted to create some revenue to buy some outdoor equipment and some stuff for outside. So they're putting the final touches on things. I don't want to talk dates and times until we have it finalized, and we'll run it through the business office to make sure we have all that paperwork on file. But I just wanted to let you know that it's coming up the first part of June, and they're gonna put one together, and we'll be having a garage sale as a fundraiser for school readiness.
I have,
So-
sorry.
Sorry, no, so you'll sell the tables, but then like the profit of the actual items goes back to the person, or does it?
Yes.
Okay,
Nope, and then, so there would be twofold. We're selling a table, you can come and sell your wares and you get your profit. If you want to just donate your stuff to us, we will have a table set up that we will manage, that the money will go directly to us. And then we will have it set up so that anything left over at the end, we'll have the boys ranch right there to pick stuff up at the end so that there's not a mess left behind. We're also gonna sell a little bit of baked goods and maybe some bubbly water or something like that,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of do what we can to.
Yeah.
They make about $1,500, $2,000 off of it in Thief River. So we thought, well, we'll start and see where we go.
Where are you gonna do it?
Well, we'd like to keep it on the north end, but we haven't ironed out a location yet, so we're working on that.
Okay,
All right,
you.
thank you.
thank you.
Hey,
Hi.
just wanted to start by saying we had a really special day at East Grand Forks today. As you know, we had no schools, so we had our staff development day on the calendar. And we really had a phenomenal morning here. Well, actually, the whole day was great with staff development. But I really want to highlight just what I seen this morning with the East Side enrichment that we put on today. And I really want to give all of the credit to Mrs. Walter and the whole staff development team for setting this up. I mean, just super, super impressive. So we did 3 sessions this morning. They were about 45 minutes apiece. And I want to say there was, and Jill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but 12 to 14 options for each session, right around there? 15, yep. So 15, even better. And lots of great choices. A lot of the areas covered requirements for licensure. And so you're getting the great training, but you're fulfilling that requirement as well. We had speakers from all over the community and the region. The co-op, we had the county here, we had local law enforcement. We had 7 or 8 presenters locally in the school here for teachers that stepped up and presented. I mean, it was really set up really nicely, and the trainings I went to were done excellent. And the people I talked to are very happy about how things went today. So again, just great thanks to Jill and the staff development team, the admin team, Brian Lower for making sure we were all accommodated here at the high school today. Everybody else, a lot of people stepped up. And so just really thankful for that. And so I wanted to highlight that special occasion. Hopefully this is the first of many, many more opportunities for East Grand Forks to put that on. So nice job, everybody. Just real quickly, we have early release on Thursday, which will be another PLC day. And then a reminder, no school on Friday and Monday for the holiday break this weekend. I also made sure that each one of the board members had some information about the level 4 project. I wanted to give you an update on that. I think most of you probably have known this has been going on here for a while as part of ASEC. And so I wanted to give you an update on where things are at. We have this nice flyer here that ASEC gave us. And I think I've talked about this in other committees and maybe even with the board. One of the reasons why the need has never been greater is our special ed numbers have gone up significantly over the last 5 years, a little over 18%. In comparison, our enrollment across the ASAC has only went up 2.3%. So you can see the needs have increased greatly. And so, you know, what they've done now is they've really tied into, they have a lobbyist that's working for us, and they also have 2 bills that are gonna go to the House and to the Senate. And so this is really an exciting time for us. And if you look on the back there, you can see that we're asking for $6 million to fund this project for our region. And so that's pretty significant. I always say there's a lot of support. And again, I'm new to everything this year, so I came into this late, but comparatively what the support we had before, it's not as high as it's been now. So this is really great for us. One of the interesting things here is that, you know, if we get the $6 million, obviously that doesn't cover the rest of the expenses here. And so what we can do is, down at the legislature this last summer, we were allowed to levy for an increased $65 per pupil. And that's on top of the current levy that we normally do. And so we can do this because we're part of a collaborative. And so we're able to levy for that $65, which would, over the course of 20 years, get us that additional monies that we would need to pay for this. And so this is really a neat thing that we're able to do this and get that funding for the rest of this project. And so that's why they're working so hard this year to put everything together. And so pretty exciting times. You can see it's going to be in Crookston. That's where it's tentatively scheduled to be put. I think they have the land picked out there. Just a lot of great leadership has went into this. And so I'm excited to just update the board and let you know that we're inching closer to this thing happening, and hopefully with some luck, we'll get some support from the legislature, and if we do that, we're gonna be able to levy that extra money to pay for the actual project. Something to keep in mind is that the expenses are estimated to be around $400,000 a year for operation. And so we'd have to figure that piece out there, but what I've been told is that would come from tuition, student tuition of students that would be attending there. And so each district would have, you know, a number of folks that would be there, and they would be paying the tuition for those operating expenses. Staffing, you know, that's a whole nother thing. You know, are we gonna be able to find the people? Are they gonna come from other schools? Are they gonna come from our school? So there's that piece as well, you know, that would need to be figured out. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. As you can see, we have a letter drafted to Chairman Lee and Chairman Pappas for the House and Senate. And basically what we want to do is just make sure that they know that we're being transparent about this, and that hopefully our board is supportive and our community of moving in this direction. And so we have that letter, and then you'll see in the back there that all of the 11 districts will be signing this, and we'll be setting that down. And so just wanted to make sure I updated you on all of that. One last thing is Baird has given us the financials for what the tax impact would be if we leveled the $65 per pupil. And if you look at East Grand Forks, under average household size, it's about $19 a year would be the tax impact for this project. So pretty minimal impact on the tax base to do something that's probably been needed here for a long, long time. And I don't have the data in front of me, but I think we're one of the very few areas in the state that doesn't have something like this to support these students. So kind of an exciting time for ASAC and supporting these all these students. Any questions about the level 4 setting?
I have a few questions.
Yep.
I'm looking at the financial impact. Maybe somebody who's better at numbers than I. So looking at you, Eric. So I'm seeing that it's like $19 per household. Seems very reasonable. But I look at all the other ones like Ada Borup, Climax, Fertile, and it's much less. Is that just because of the amount of students that we would have going there?
Well, I don't think that's it. I think it's because we have the bigger tax base, right? Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at our
Yeah.
house value, it's 246,000, we're doing 56,000.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I guess that doesn't really make sense. Like Fisher, their average household is that, and they're paying even less. So I don't know how that would,
Yeah, there must, yeah.
that's weird.
Mhm.
Not saying it's not needed. It's needed, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, and $19 is nothing to like shake a stick at, so I agree though, Josh, it kind of was like, huh,
Funny
huh,
numbers.
a little bit different, I don't know. Maybe somebody didn't carry the one. The other thing, do we know when, I mean, they just will vote on it before the end of legislative session, we don't have like a date in which it's gonna go to the floor?
No, they have a committee meeting, and so they'll go start there and see where it goes, but I don't have any sort of timetable. I know that, Tiffany Lippman's been keeping us updated as much as possible on things, and I know she's really optimistic about our chances, and I think that, if we're able to get the support, I think the next thing we would do is want to be even more transparent to the community.
Yeah.
And really open it up a little bit. Tiffany and I have talked initially about having her come in and maybe presenting to the board. And just maybe starting with that, and but right now they wanted to wait before Tiffany came in and talked to the boards. They just wanted the superintendents just to give everybody an update as to where we're at.
Is there any reason why Crookston and Thief are not in this right now?
Yep, it's a great question, Josh, and so I think that, at least one of them's very interested and has shown some interest, and then the other one maybe 50-50. And so I think there's just a couple other, well, first of all, they'd have to join,
Right.
they'd have to join our cooperative. And so there's that piece, and then figuring out all of that. And so I think there's just, because we have a joint power agreement, I think it just takes a little bit more time, I think, to get those folks to jump on board. But I think there's a really good chance of that happening, and if you see the comparative on the back side, it certainly benefits everybody to have a couple more people.
Well, yeah, because otherwise the levy will go up for everybody if this is assuming that they're not gonna be a part of it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
The $400,000 annual operating cost, is that split amongst the
Correct.
evenly?
Well, let me back up on that, because that question actually got asked, and that's what I thought was gonna happen, but really what they wanna do is they wanna go by enrollment.
Sure.
So if East Grand Forks has got, whatever, 4 kids, 5 kids that send over there, that would be their portion of those operating expenses.
You're talking like enrollment of that school, not school enrollment
Yes, of that
Community?
school,
Basics,
yeah.
of that school.
Yep, because that tuition would go with them over there. And so I initially thought it would be split amongst the 11, but it sounds like to me that they're gonna split it by usage. And so that's,
Tricky for budgeting. like,
Right.
yeah, especially the first year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we
good.
don't know how many kids year to year,
Yep,
That's
You
interesting.
should have an idea though, of year to year of
Yeah,
who's going. to
once
the
you're
level.
started.
Yeah,
possibly, yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes, students transfer and bounce around too, and so there's that, so.
And then has transportation been thought of? Like, is that incorporated in that 400,000?
I think that would be part of it, yep. Yep, that would be an operating expense.
So they come pick the kids up and bring them every day?
Yeah, to be determined. I'm not, again, every situation is gonna be unique, but, those are some of the things that I think we'd have to iron out, obviously. Is there a question?
You can, Feel free. Yeah.
We could use that money as well to help pay for transportation. Of students who are in need of being transported to an area for special services. Or would that take away from other
They're
stuff?
part of the ENI group. That would include Princeton, us, for future.
okay.
So that would help, maybe.
That would help.
Okay.
transportation.
Anyway, I knew that we've been talking about this for a while here, and I just wanted to give
Yeah.
everybody an update, and like I said, once we get to that point where, something happens, down in St. Paul, we can bring Tiffany in to
Yeah.
kind of give us an update.
Good idea.
Okay. That's all I had from my report.
Okay.
Give you committee updates real quick.
Yeah, that'd be,
Oh, all right. So we met as a finance committee, again last week, and I think that was our 3rd or 4th meeting, 3rd for sure. And a lot of great work has went into those meetings. I will be, I did update the board, in my report last Friday, just to of kind of where things stand. And then, the plan is to bring, formal recommendations for board approval at the next board meeting. Just want to encourage anybody that has questions, concerns, things that they want to run by me before then, to feel free to approach me with those things. District leadership team met, a couple weeks ago as well. We reviewed the READ Act requirements amongst other things. Talked a little bit about PLC options that we'll be, talking about hopefully at the next board meeting or the board meeting after. And then, we also reviewed the curriculum cycle that's been developed by the, EGF admin team and, subsequently, approved and supported by the leadership team. So we'll be, looking for that to be adopted, tonight, hopefully. And then finally, Madam Chair, negotiations update real quick. Still waiting and working with principals. I know that, principals were gonna get together and talk a little bit and get back to us, but we expect that to hopefully, finish up here sooner than later. And then we've also scheduled meetings with the, paras, food service and custodial and maintenance groups for, April.
Any questions for Brian? All right, moving on to 5.0, the consent agenda. Take a motion to, does anybody want anything pulled from the consent agenda? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 6.0, opportunities for citizens to speak on items not on the agenda.
Do you have any, Madam Chair?
7.0 is approving the agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8.0, district business. The curriculum revenue cycle. Is there anyone that, did you want to speak on that?
Well, we can, get a motion and then we can have discussion.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the curriculum review cycle as presented and attached.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Okay, questions and discussion.
Yeah, I sent this out, Friday in my update as well, and hopefully had a chance to take a look at it. We always talk about moving the needle here in the school district, right? And so I can't think of anything more important than making sure that we have our curriculum up to par and updated standards according to, Minnesota Department of Education. And so really excited, to present this tonight and, want to thank, Mrs. Driscoll, for her work on this. I know this has been started a number of years ago, and we were finally able to kind of get it back at the table and have some discussion. And so we jumped right on it. We're excited to start moving this forward here. And so really, really important that East Grand Forks, in my opinion, adopts this tonight and gets us kind of on track to where we're going. And really, yes, we're behind, I would say, but more importantly, this is really a means to an end, right? It's going to get us, it's a roadmap to make sure that we're accountable to stay on top of our curriculum at East Grand Forks. And so if you want to kind of page through it a little bit or look through it a little bit, if you haven't, it's really going to have, 4 phases to kind of follow. And I think it's laid out very nicely as to kind of what those steps look like under program review, implementation, a comprehensive review and implementation, and then of course, a program evaluation. There's also dates of interest as far as, when content areas will be bringing those forward for approval. And so, the nice thing about it is I know we get a lot of focus on, the year that we're implementing and proposing curriculum, because everybody's excited about getting, new texts and new materials and presenting and, all that stuff. And it's a lot of work that goes into that. But what we can't lose focus of is all the things that should be happening with everything else. I think that's equally important, is that every content area at East Grand Forks should be doing something every year. And that's the piece that I think is vital to moving the needle forward. yes, it's exciting to get the new curriculum and to implement those new standards. It's a must. But what's more important to me anyway is that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing with our curriculum. And so I think this lays it out very nicely. You know, I just want to just caution the board to say, you know, right now with the situation that we're currently in, and there's some uncertainty with a few things, it doesn't mean that we're totally going to be hamstrung by this either. I mean, we can, this is the roadmap for the superintendent and the school board, and our administration to be looking at always. We can always, have discussion about this. There's different ways to go about it. We can move things around. We can decide to implement, one school level instead of doing all levels at once. There are other ways to go about this. And so I don't want the board to be scared about, you know, having to commit to, thousands upon thousands of dollars, because of us doing this. I think it's important that we get the roadmap out there. We work from it. It's a working document. We can refer to it as needed. We can change it as needed. And certainly the board and the superintendent will have to make decisions based on budgets, and how much we're gonna be budgeting for our curriculum based on the big picture of where our finances are sitting. And so, I see it as an exciting time and a good start for East Grand Forks to get the train back on the tracks here with our curriculum. I also think it brings everybody together, and with the consideration of possibly having some more PLC time, this would really fit nicely into that. That gives people that consistent time to be really digging in to, you know, not only the redact and other things we talked about, but really your content area and making sure those standards and curriculum is aligned. Making sure you're doing your mapping. There's just so many important things that need to happen. And so I don't know if Soraya or anybody else wanted to talk anymore on behalf of it, but that's kind of what I had.
I think too, with a lot of the AI tools that are available, that we can develop a lot.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
AI as in artificial intelligence, okay.
Yep.
Just making, there's a lot of AIs, so I just want.
So have we started looking at the art and health or standards yet so far or no? Because they're supposed to be implemented this year. Have we started looking at them or not exactly yet?
I know they've been passed out, I don't know how much work they've done on them.
We really need to, once we get this hopefully adopted tonight, we need to kick it in gear and we need to do some inventory as to where they're at. And that's why we had it down for, you know, this year to really get going. We don't want to even wait. We really want to see where they're at. And we may have to actually dedicate some hours in the summer to really give them a little bit of a jump start, to give them enough time. And then next year when we start our new school year, it's really going to be important that you know, if we follow this, that science would start to take a look there and see where we're at. But I think you got to get the train moving down the tracks here, and I think this is a good way for us to do it.
Also, another question, have we looked at what the cost would be for the art and the health, like updated curriculums to match the standards?
Yeah, you know, I think that we'd have to, again, as part of that check-in process with those content areas. I mean, I couldn't guess right now. I just don't know.
Okay, yeah.
But compared to some of the other ones
Mhm.
on the curriculum cycle, I think that this one would probably be less expensive. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that the curriculums that we need to have or the new standards are going to be, are we gonna budget them? And will they be like in the April 8th for the budget meeting by then? Cause it'd be hard to set a budget for the school district
Yep.
for the year if we don't have what we need to have to teach.
I would say your initial budget in June should definitely have that information in there. So you go into next year with a plan for that.
Yeah,
I think by then would be realistic for us to have a pretty good handle on where we're at with those
okay.
content areas. And then again, year after year, you're gonna look at the big picture of your finances. You're gonna take a look at what you have upcoming on the curriculum cycle. And then you can kind of decide and have conversation as to, well, are we gonna be able to do it all? Or are we gonna have to
Yeah.
do part of it? And sometimes you have to push it back, but I would not recommend doing that. I would try to stay on the cycle as much as possible.
I mean, my comment would be that we do have uncertainty, you know, facing us within the budget, but I don't know how you run a school and not invest in curriculum. So we're not adopting anything tonight financially. We're adopting like processes and procedures as to how to review and what, you know, what to review and when.
Good way to put it. Yep.
I guess my only comment would be like, just making sure that we hold everybody accountable, including us, to make sure that these things are taking place. I mean, us is such a big piece that we want to make sure that the conversations are always happening, to make sure that these things are in place and they're actually moving forward. Because sometimes they can get lost when changes happen and you have teachers that just kind of slide back to what they're comfortable with, right? And so just to making sure that we're always having conversations with this to make sure we're held accountable, administrations, teachers are always accountable for this.
Absolutely.
Like a semi-annual review.
Right, some sort of a place that it should be, you know, at least the board's getting updated so everyone can be accountable and the administration can make sure the teachers stay accountable and they can be accountable to us and.
Okay.
And then, you know, whatever, you know, when a new superintendent comes into, they can decide and the board, you know, how much the district leadership team wants to be part of that oversight as well. I know we talked about that a little bit at our initial meeting about them being part of that oversight, making sure that people are accountable and things like that. And certainly briefing the board once, twice a year, I think is a must.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor of adopting the curriculum review cycle, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 8.2, accepting the donations to the school district.
Okay, I will make a motion to accept the following donations. A donation from Rydell's to CMS for Outsiders Day in the amount of $1,263, and a donation from Crystal Sugar to CMS for Outsiders Day in the amount of $500 for a total donation exception of $1,763.
Get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of accepting the donation, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 9.0, payment of claims and accounts.
I'll move to approve the payment of K-12 bills numbers 126,688 through 126,789 in the amount of $363,052.37.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor of.
I have
paying
a question on it.
the- Sorry, go ahead.
Just curious, so I see the Northland, bill is for the spring, PSEO is on here. Is that typical, that amount? Is that pretty consistent with what we've been seeing?
We have roughly 100 PSEO kids in our school, ranging from taking one class to first semester. Which right there. So
Yep.
We keep them as students, obviously, so we get the money from the state coming in and it
Yep.
just goes in and goes out. to-
But that's been consistent for, okay.
Gone down a little bit because of the stuff. High as $225,000 3 to 4 years, but
You said we get reimbursed from the state for the kids that go?
we get the per pupil.
We get the ADM.
We get the state aid,
Yeah.
and then it goes.
It's not apples to apples,
No.
though. It's not apples to apples, though. It's not like they give us like $100 and we give Northland 100 only. Yeah.
Price of a
More. Yeah. I apologize. Any other comments
That's all
or
I had.
questions? Okay. All those in favor of paying the claims and accounts, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 10.0, board member comments. Eric, we'll start with you.
No comments tonight?
I got no comments.
No, nothing tonight.
Amanda?
Yeah, Easter's coming up, so I want to wish everyone a happy Easter and time with their family, and I hope that 2.5 days of school is gonna be good this week.
Yeah, I kind of
Plan.
forgot about that early out. so Thank you for that.
Mhm.
I don't have any other board member comments. Just thank you for the donations as always. 11.0, the next meeting of Board of Education is scheduled for April 8th, 2024 at 5:30. 12.0, we're adjourning the meeting and I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Well, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everybody.